I'm amazed at the speed that Elegant Themes is developing Divi 5. Let me show you something that they've just recently released. Now over here, when you take a look, it looks like these are three separate items, but they are actually in one group. So let me show you how this works. So if I come over here and add, let's say, a new module, you're going to notice that we have this group item, which means we can add all our modules into one group, and then that group can be duplicated. You can do all sorts of things with it. So that is what I want to show you in this video. All right, so let's go ahead and recreate what we have here. And by the way, at first glance, it looks like nothing much is happening, but if I come over here and activate the X-ray mode, we can actually see what is happening. So we notice that we have this new boundary here. In fact, if I click in here, or if I highlight, you can see now we have group settings. So I can actually go in here into the group settings and add all the settings for this particular group. Now let me show you this. If I come over here to the background, I can go in and add a background. Do you see that? Just like that. So it's applying to the whole group. And this is very, very interesting because this is a very new feature. Okay, so we don't want that. What we need is to recreate this from scratch. Okay, so let's get rid of all this. We don't need this right now. Okay, so what we're going to do is to click on this plus button. So of course you have to have the design in your head of what you need to create. But the most important thing here is we have group over here. So I'm going to select group, and then I'm going to decide what I'm going to have in the group. So in this example here, I'm going to have an image. So I'm going to search for my image module like that. Okay, so I'm going to select that, and then we're going to come over here and add our image. So let's say this is our image. And then I'm going to come over here and click on upload image. Okay, so we have our image now. So the next thing we need to do is to add another module. So instead of clicking here on the plus button, this adds a new group. So you don't want to do that. If you want this all grouped together, you can just highlight and then click over here like that. So this time we want some text. I'm going to select that. Okay, so now we have a bunch of text. So let's just get rid of some of this text because it's a bit too much. Okay. So we have a bit of text. Now, what is really cool as well, if you're a SiteKrafter Pro user, you're going to get something really exciting here. We can actually use our classes. So I'm going to go in and say SK. So now we have responsive fluid text. All right. So now that we have this, what else can we have? Okay, perhaps we want to have a button. I'm going to click here on this plus button, and then I'm going to search for my button. Like that, and select it. Okay, now there's a few things that we need to do to this button here, and that is to center it and give it, some margins. So I'm going to come over here to design, alignment, and then we're going to center it. Okay, next we're going to come over here to advanced, CSS ID and classes. And by the way, this feature here that I'm just about to add is from SiteKrafter Pro framework. I mean, there's a 40% discount. The link to that is in the video description below. This framework will allow you to design websites consistently and super fast. All right, so MT-L. That means my margin top is set to large. So let's go medium. How about that? Okay, that looks nice. Now, while we're here, we can see now that we have our simple design. Now, if we want to add any changes or customize this in any way, you can just click on the group settings. And then what I really found very exciting is the fact that I can actually go into the group settings here, go to advanced, CSS ID and classes, and I can actually use the SiteKrafter framework. So let's say I want to add padding around it. So I'm going to say PAD for padding, and then I'm going to go with padding medium. Okay, do you see that? We have now medium. Now I know there's a lot of lines all over the place and you can't really see what's happening. I'm now going to add a gray background. So I'm going to say BG-gray, and I'm going to go with gray 50. Okay, something very, in fact, let's go with gray. Yeah, let's try gray 50. So it's gray 50 like that. So it's very subtle, or we can go with a gray 100. Maybe that's much better. Okay, so that's gray 100. And I'm also going to add a radius. So that's RAD, and let's go with medium. Okay, so radius medium. So this now is actually grouped together. These three modules are grouped together. Now to prove that these are grouped, look at this. I'm going to duplicate that. Now, do you see that when I duplicate it, it's duplicating the whole thing? Okay. So it's very easy now for me to what? To grab this and take it to a different place like that. And then all I have to do now is to come into this one here, go to my image, and then I can now change that image into a totally different image. So let's say I'm going to go with, okay, let's go with this one here. I know the images aren't great, but pretty much that's all I have. Okay. Right. So you can see now my content is changing and it's looking much, much better. So if we take away my X-ray, this is what the design looks like. Pretty clean. And then we can go ahead and go into our row settings. We can go into design, sizing, and let's minimize our spacing here. So we're going to go with 2 and pretty much we are good to go. All right. So with this now, what I would have, let's try something. Okay. Let's try something very, very interesting here. You know how we can save this? We can save modules as a preset. Can we save a group as a preset? I don't know. Let's try it out. All right. So we're going to come over here. We're going to select this group and I'm going to come over here. Now you notice that we are on group and then we're going to go to default preset. And now let's create a new preset from current styles. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and select that. And then we're going to go to our preset settings. So I'm just going to say this. It's a new group. But of course, you want to be creative with how you name your groups. So now that I have new group here, I'm going to go ahead and save. Okay. Now, when I come over here, group, let's see what happens if I have this group selected and then I come over here and click on new group. Doesn't work. So I think this is something that needs to be fixed. I guess maybe this is the first round of releasing it. So this would be really, really amazing if we can set these as presets as we design our websites. It would just make things very, very easy. Can you imagine trying to add all these 3 items as you're designing your website? That won't work. Now, that said, when I look at this, I'm looking at a situation where for the new feature, the loop feature, you can actually put together this little design here, this card, and this could work as a loop. And this will be really, really clean and really, really awesome. So let's go ahead and create something else that's different. So I'm going to click here, new group. I don't think I'm ever going to use these modules the same because this new feature just simplifies everything. I don't know about you, but before when I used to use a blurb, it used to annoy me that it doesn't come with a button. So now if I go to this blurb like that, I can go in, get rid of some of this text like that. And then we can go in and center everything. So we're going to come to sizing. Okay. Oops, nothing changed. This is strange. Okay, anyway, we can go in and do it individually. So we're going to go to our text here, center it. And then over here, we can have an image or we can have an icon. So we're going to come over here and let's choose an icon for this. And let's activate that. And the icon we're going to add is, okay, let's go with this one here. And then of course we want to reduce the size a little bit. So we're going to go into our icon and then we're going to reduce it a little bit. Okay. So now our icon has the right size. And while I have the module selected, I'm just going to come over here to advanced, CSS ID and classes and set SK to make sure that my fonts are responsive and fluid. Okay. So with this now, I can now group my blurb and my button at the same time. So let's search for our button like that. Oops. There we go. That's my button right there. I can now center this by coming over here, alignment, center. So that means now I have, okay. So that means now I have my blurb and my button all in one as one item. So I can further design this by coming over here. I can go to advanced, CSS ID and classes. And then here, what I can do is I'm going to say RAD for radius. And we're going to go with medium. And we're also going to have our padding, and we're going to set this to large. No, let's go medium. How about that? Medium. And what else do we need? Let's add a background color. So we're going to say BG dash gray, and then we're going to go with 50. Okay, just to make it really, really subtle. Okay, so now that we have this, in fact, you know, while we are here, why don't we go in and change our title text from H4, bring it down to H5. Okay, so now I have a blurb which has a button in it, which means I can use it as it is. I can duplicate this. Now you notice that it duplicates everything. And now I can just drag and drop it here like that as a group. But as I mentioned, it would be really nice if we can go in here and set it as a preset, which means every time you're going to need something similar to this, we can just go in and select it. That would be perfect. But so far, I really love what Elegant Themes is doing here. This is fantastic. And also, I was supposed to do a video on nested rows. I think that'll be my next video. So far, so good. If you haven't purchased Divi, go ahead and do so. The link to that is in the video description below. And to be honest with you, I think we're in the right direction here with Divi 5, because the features just keep on coming. I can't wait to use Flexbox. Anyway, guys, what do you think about this feature? Let me know in the comments box below. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one. Take care.